Ladies and gentlemen, and hockey fans of all ages, welcome back to another edition of Randy Talks Hockey. This week in the NHL offseason, it was a little bit of a busy week, which is good. Some of these offseason is like paint dry. You're just waiting, and hopefully that regular season can happen soon. But this week, we got some news to talk about. We had announcements from teams, signings, trades. I'll get into all that. Plus, we'll all get into another editions of which teams I thought got better and which teams did not. All right, we had a trade happen between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. Milan Lucic is going to the Flames and James Neal is going to the Oilers. Who won this trade? Hard to say, because both these players had such a bad regular season. They just didn't live up to expectations. Their contract, a change of scenery might help. But here's the thing, both teams do fill needs here. We look at the Calgary Flames. Milan Lucic, big, physical, heavy hitting, play that hard playoff type of style that will help the Flames. A lot of people thought that was a big reason why the Flames lost to the Colorado Avalanche. Lucic does fit the bill, and you put him on a line with Sam Bennett, Derek Ryan. Man, that third line is going to be heavy hitting there. So we'll see. But Milan Lucic had not have good regular season. The last two seasons with the Oilers, he has had a combined of 16 goals and 48 points. Just brutal for a guy who signed a 6-year, $42 million contract back in 2016. For the Oilers, they got James Neal. He signed a 5-year deal for the Flames, and it just did not work out the first year. He didn't get much chance playing on that top line with Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan, but in Edmonton, he will get chances to play with guys like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. There are some cap restrictions involved in this trade. The Oilers will be 10% of Lucic's contract. So what's going to happen here is Lucic's cap hit was $6 million. James Neal cap hit $5.75 million. The Oilers are going to be eating $500,000 off that. So the Flames, with taking this contract, they are saving $500,000 because James Neal was $5.75 million. The Oilers are going to Lucic's contract was $6 million cap hit, and and James Neal at 5.75. You do the math, you have the 500,000. The Oilers are going to be eating $250,000 of that cap hit. So it'll be interesting what's going to happen. There is a draft pick involved as well. If James Neal scored 20 goals or more, Lucic had 10 goals fewer than James Neal, the Flames will get a third-round pick. The New York Rangers are not going to arbitration with one of their players. Jacob Trouba signed a 7-year, $56 million deal. He got paid, ladies and gentlemen, a cap hit of $8 million for the next year. Now, Trouba did have a career high of 50 points. And the question is going to be, can Trouba live up to the contract expectation? Because he did get a little bit too much, I would say. But let's look at this in perspective. In Winnipeg, he was playing behind guys like Dustin Byfuglien on the second set of defense. The power play in there and the guy they had was already stacked. So Trouba will be the guy in New York to get all those chances. But the big thing for the Rangers here is they are now over the cap, because don't forget, they gave Artemi Panarin loads of money, and now you have to deal to Trouba. They are over the cap, and they still have RFAs they need to sign. Guys like Pavel Buchnevich, who I think is a big key for the Rangers, who really has helped them get up there. They have to sign Brandon Lemieux and Anthony DeAngelo. Seattle had made their first signing. Ron Francis is going to be the first general manager of Seattle. The question is going to be, can Mr. Francis have the same success as George McPhee? He has years of experience. He was Carolina Hurricane general manager for 4 seasons before getting fired. Now, the question is going to be, what can Francis do? When you're picking from 31 teams and some of these teams have to give up some of these good players in the expansion draft, I think you'll do pretty well. But Ron Francis, let's not forget, he had them good and bad in Carolina. The good, drafting players like Sebastian Aho, Noah Hannafin at the time. Now with Calgary, but a great defenseman. He got a player like Warren Fogle, who had a great playoff for the Hurricanes this past spring. Some of the bad decisions by Francis, I think, are the goaltending. He could never figure that out. He got Eddie Lack. That did not work. Got Scott Darling. That did not work. So we'll see what Francis can do here to rectify that and put Seattle on the market and make them maybe good than Vegas, maybe better. Who knows? Only time will tell. All right, we're going to get that part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, for which teams got better, which teams got worse. Let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres. They had another kind of a busy offseason. They did pluck some holes on defense. Got Colin Miller, a good defenseman there. Add some depth defense. They acquired forward Jimmy Vesey in a trade from the Rangers. That will add some depth scoring there. They got another head coach, Ralph Kruger, the 5th head coach since Lindy Ruff. They have gone through Ron Ralston, Ted Nolan, a guy like Dan Bilesma who won a Stanley Cup, and a Coach Jack Adams Award with the Penguins, and then Phil Housley. So the Sabres better than what they were last year? I'm going to say a little bit yes, but with an asterisk, because the Sabres, they've always made good moves to improve the team. Look at last year. They got a guy like Jeff Skinner. They got Carter Hutton. They got Connor Sherry, Vladimir Sobotka. They did lose O'Reilly, but O'Reilly didn't want to be there. So the Sabres, they always do these good things, but they just can't get over the hump and make the playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs in 2011. They haven't won a playoff series since 2007. So the Sabres, yes, but with an asterisk. The next team is the Calgary Flames. They haven't had a busy offseason. They had plucked some holes. They got a goalie in Cam Talbot on a 1-year deal. The trade for Milan Lucic, but they did lose a player at Garnet Hathaway. But that's the player you kind of replaced. They got Andrew Mangiapane in that lineup, who really had a great time playing with the Flames when he got called up. Are the Flames better than what they were last season? I'm going to say we have to wait and see, because of a couple of things. A big thing is going to be David Reddick. Last year was kind of his first year playing as the number one. He played about 40-some games. In the first half of the season, great. Second half did not, but because of injury, he still needs a contract. The big question for Big Dave Davis, is he a one-hit wonder or is he for real? We'll have to wait. The Flames still have RFAs they need to sign. David Reddick is one of them. Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk. They are a little bit strapped against the cap. There have been talk, are they going to trade TJ Brody, Michael Frolik, a buyout of Michael Stone? Only time will tell. But the Flames, are they better than what they were last year? We'll have to wait and see. But I still think as a Canuck fan, they're still a good hockey team with a lot of great weapons like Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan and others, and Matthew Tkachuk. So we'll wait and see for the Flames. All right, we're going to Hurricane country. We're going to talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. They had an interesting offseason. They did some trades. Calvin DeHaan gone, but they got a young defenseman, Gustus Forsling. They added a depth player in Brian Gibbons. Curtis McElhinney is gone, but they did acquire James Reimer. That's the big question there. But they did add another good player in Eric Hall. Hall was limited to games last season, but the year before he had 29 goals. So that will really help the depth scoring of the Hurricanes, because I think the addition of Hall, they knew they lost Michael Furlan. They knew they were going to lose Michael Furlan. He's gone to Vancouver. So the question for the Hurricanes, are they better or worse? I'm going to say wait and see, but a little on the worse side. And here's my reason. DeHaan is a veteran defense. He has played game. Forsling hasn't played many games in his NHL, and he's an RFA. He still needs to get signed. The big thing is, for the Hurricanes, I'm going to look at goaltending. Yes, they did get Mrazek re-signed, but James Reimer, I question him. I've seen him play in Florida. He is not good. Now, why did I see him play in Florida? Big Roberto Luongo fan. I want to know what's happening there. When he got his chances, he always let that awful goal at the worst time. Sometimes he just wasn't ready. So we'll see. Maybe Mrazek's going to play 60-plus games and show he's a real deal. Maybe Reimer's going to turn it around. Who knows? And let's not forget, they got Sebastian Aho signed for another 5 years. So that's a big piece there for the Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes, they're in the wait and see. I'm going to say they're in the middle of a wait and see and did not get better just because of the goaltending. They did do a lot of good things, I think, but we'll have to wait and see. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for this week. We'll be back next week. We'll hear from more news and notes what's happening in the NHL. We'll hopefully get through some more teams and do I think they got better or worse. Anyways, have a good one, everyone. My name is Randy Dillon. Always remember to watch some hockey. There's always some good vintage games on. And have a good one.